StrayAllDay.com.
Now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is the adult immaturity epidemic. Yes, adults, we're going to hold ourselves accountable here today. Now, I did an episode several years ago, back in episode 1605, so about 5 years ago, maybe more, explaining how the adults of today, all of us, have failed the next generation of up and coming youth. One of the reasons is many of us behave as if we are the age of our children or the age of people who should be looking up to us today. So the people who should be looking up to us as upperclassmen, elder statesmen, we are behaving as if we are their age. And today I'm going to explain some of those ways that we are doing this in failure and also offer you some options for fixing this mess, because this is part of why society is going backwards. There are several reasons. This is one of them. Point number one. Today's topic, once again, is the adult immaturity epidemic. Number one, you cannot cut yourself off from information or resources just because you have a supposed personal issue with the source of information or with the information itself. In other words, do not say, I will never listen to X or I will stop following person Y simply because they have an opinion or a position that you disagree with on a personal level, or they said something or did something or allegedly represent something that you are strongly against. Not to say that you are lying. You might be lying, but not to say that you're lying. Let's say you're telling the truth. If you were listening to or could listen to or were consuming that person or that thing or engaging in that space before you came across the thing that challenged you or disagreed with you or offended you in some way, then you should continue to consume it. Why? Because just because you disagree with one thing doesn't mean you just should disagree with everything. You disagree with one thing doesn't mean that you should just disconnect yourself from everything else that could possibly come from it. Episode number 2337, I told you about this. Eat the meat and spit out the bones. Eat the meat and spit out the bones. If you know enough of the opinions of any person, any entity, guaranteed you will come across something upon which you and that person or entity disagree. Guaranteed. Doesn't mean that you should stop liking them or stop listening to them or unfollow them or not be a friend with them anymore. It just means that, okay, we happen to disagree on this point, but that doesn't mean all the other things that we do agree with should go out the window just because of it. Again, that's foolish. Why would you do that? If person X says something and you have already decided that you don't like the person, therefore you won't listen to or entertain anything that person X says, you are like the monkey with his hands over his ears. All right, I'm just not going to listen to anything that gets said just to make sure I don't hear it. Are you cutting yourself off from something that could actually help you? Because you decided you don't like person X doesn't mean person X can't make a good point. Again, even a broken clock is right at least 2 times a day. Even a blind squirrel can find a nut. All right, so that would be stupid to do that. And it's childish is what it is. And this is what I mean when I say the adult immaturity epidemic. I'm just not going to listen to anything that you say simply because you said some things that I disagree with. There is a person, I'm not going to say this person's name here today, but I will say as a woman, and I will say that she works in the media space. And she came to me, when was this? This is probably around, what time frame was this? This is probably around 2020, maybe 2021. I did not know her. She found me because she was looking for some material. She actually told me this. It was coming up on Thanksgiving season, holiday season, and she was writing an article about how do you deal with family members at the holiday gatherings who may have a different political view than yours. So she goes looking around on the internet for something around this, and she stumbles across or asks a question about like trash talking. What if people are trash talking? How do you do it? And when she looked up trash talking, she came across a couple of my videos on YouTube when I was giving advice to basketball players about how to deal with trash talkers on the basketball court. So she watched that video, she liked my style, and she reached out to me via email, and we struck up a cordial friendship. And I was a guest on one of her shows that she had. I don't think she still has that show. Like, she had a podcast. I was on her show, and we were, following each other on social media. We would exchange emails and talk, and we're generally cool with each other. That was all up until around the time of holiday season 2024. Holiday season 2024. This woman, one thing I will say about her is this woman is a bleeding heart liberal, very strong liberal. I believe she's from New York State, and she is I think it would be safe to say that she is afflicted with Trump derangement syndrome. She has Trump derangement syndrome. Now, I knew this over the years, but I never touched on it that deeply. We every once in a while would have an exchange on something where we disagreed, and she might make a little sarcastic joke, and I might make one every now and then. And anyway, after the 2024 election, I mean, all of you know what happened in the 2024 election. A lot of people on social media, because we would exchange with each other over X. It's the only app that I really have exchanges with people anyway. And we were both following each other on X. She has a significant following. I have a following. And after that 2024 election ended, a lot of people on X who were not fans of Trump jumped off the app and just basically stopped using it, and or walled themselves off from anyone who might disagree with them politically. And she posted something. I don't remember what she posted. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I can even remember her name on here. Actually, let me look up her regular name and see if I can find it. I don't know if it's going to come up. Well, let's see. Can I find it? Yes, I did find it. And I found her show, which I was on. The show is still following me, but the person is not following me anymore. The person is here, and this person, as it shows, this person blocked me on X. They are still actively publishing, but let's see. This person is still actively publishing. I'm looking to see if they're actually like openly having conversations. I'm looking. Not really. This person is not super active when it comes to publishing, but I'm trying to find the last thing I said to this person, because after I said this thing to this person just blocked me. Let me see if I can find it. So I know how to search on here. So let me see. It was this, and I said, yeah, it's here. Is this it? Was it this? I don't think it was this. No, it wasn't this. It was something else. I'm seeing something that I said to this person, but this wasn't it. And let me see. Let me go back and see if I can find it. It was... No, I can't find it. But anyway, the point is, I said something to this person. It was about the politics, current events, etc. around the election. This person was obviously very upset. And I said something to them that was, again, my norm. It was a logical approach. It was a pushback to what she said, but it was a logical approach to it. And she didn't respond to it. And the next time I looked, and other people had responded. So when I was looking at the post, I saw that she had blocked me. This is immaturity. We can't do this. That's what I mean. What I'm describing here today, you can't cut yourself off from another person or another source simply because you happen to disagree with them on a certain subject. Nor should you be so emotionally engaged in a subject that you can't bear to hear anyone who says something different, especially a person who you otherwise know outside of that conversation. Like, really? Is this what we're doing? Again, if you're 12 or 16 years of age, I understand. But if you're 42 or 66 years of age, I do not understand. I do not accept this. You need to engage with material thoughts, ideas, and people who go against where you stand on those same subjects. It will either help you strengthen your argument for where you stand, or it may open your mind up a bit to seeing things in a different way. Now, either way, you win. Point number 2. Today's topic is the adult immaturity epidemic that we have here in America. Number 2. Too many adults have bought into this informational tribalism where you always consume information from certain sources and people just because you decided that you personally align with the way that that person or source sees the world. While this is a natural response that all humans are susceptible to, we tend to gravitate towards things that we agree with. You need to be smart enough to go against your human nature and open yourself up to sources that are different from what you are used to. Because this is what all critical thinkers are able to do: separate the point from the person. Because a person who you have been told to not agree with may still make a good point. And if you cannot do this, you are hindering your own potential success. A person who you have already decided that you don't like can make a solid, logical point that could actually help you move forward if you knew about the point. And a person who you have already decided that you do like can still say some bullshit. And you should be able to give both credit for their solid point and or their bullshit in either circumstance. So my question is, can you do this? Number one. Number two, do you do it? We can't be cutting ourselves off here. This informational tribalism, I'm only going to consume these things because these are the things that make me feel good and they validate my perspective. Or I will hear people who maybe go against my perspective, but they're going to go against it in a way that makes me comfortable. All right, this is bullshit. This is childish. And I understand why not everybody has this frame of mind. All of you know my background. My background is as an athlete. And in the sports world, you're going to get pushback and you're going to get feedback from your coaches, from your teammates, from your opponents, and even from the fans that ain't designed to make you feel good. It's designed to get through to you to make sure you heard it. Whether you feel good about it or not is completely irrelevant. They just want to make sure you got the fucking point. That's the world that I come from, and I still operate with that frame. And it seems that there are many adults these days who operate with the exact opposite frame of everything is about censoring your feelings and how you personally feel around the communication rather than the actual communication itself. If the communication doesn't make me feel good, then I'm just going to completely reject the communication. All right, that's nonsense. There may be some medicine that doesn't feel good to you, but it will take care of that sickness or that virus that you have. Are you not going to take the medicine because it doesn't feel good? You should probably take the medicine because it'll only get worse if you don't. So we have to, as humans, adults especially, we got to drop this tribalism that we have here of I'm only going to consume the things that make me feel good. One of the reasons that I use X, one of the reasons that I do it, one of the reasons that I do live streams. So when I do my live streams talking about a current event, I am often engaging with people who actively are disagreeing with me. One of the reasons that I do it is because I like the active disagreement. I want people to actively disagree with me because it keeps my sword sharp to go back and forth with people who are disagreeing with what I'm saying. If I'm only talking to people who agree with me, then I'm going to grow dull. My mental blade will grow dull because I'm only hearing people affirming and validating me. I want to hear people affirming and validating me all day. I want some people to go against me because it keeps me much more sharp when they're going against me. When I was an athlete, for example, I like playing in the games on the road more than I like playing games at home. I don't like playing home games. Because in the home games, everybody's cheering for you and everybody's expecting you to do good. It was harder to build up a mental edge playing at home games because everybody's clapping for you. Everybody thinks you're great at home. On the road games, you got people in the stands like, oh, this guy's a bum. He can't play. He's not going to do anything. If somebody from the home team scores on you, the crowd is going crazy. It's much easier to get mentally activated on a road game where all the odds were against you, so to speak, than there was at a home game when everybody's cheering for you. I like having some people going against me. It's much easier to get into the zone that I want to get into. I only had to manufacture it. They provide it for me. But you got to be willing to go against some opposition to get that. I mean, it's the reason why people with big muscles, how do they get big muscles? By lifting heavy weights, by dealing with resistance day after day after day. That's how you get muscles. If you're not dealing with any resistance, you can't get strong. It's impossible. So, person you've already decided that you do like can say some bullshit. Person you decided you don't like can say something smart. All right, you got to be willing to give both credit. Number three, the reason this topic is so important is because there's a wide open opportunity for all the people out there who are able to accept and apply what I'm telling you here today. What's the wide open opportunity? What I notice is that most people simply lack the critical thinking skills and or the maturity, often both, to do what I'm telling you here today. It means the opportunity, folks, is always in the opposites. Opportunity in life is always in the opposites, and understanding that the opportunity is in the opposites. Remember, when it comes to anything that involves acquiring knowledge, advancement, growth, or anything else that has to do with success, most people's behaviors, habits, and ideas are 100% wrong. Most people want all these things that I just mentioned: knowledge, advancement, growth, success. But most people have very, very wrong ideas about how exactly to acquire these things and how to go about getting them if they wanted to, and how to keep them if they have it. I'm suggesting that you don't be like most people. The opportunity in life, again, episode 1025, is in the opposites. Most people deal with disappointment by finding something or someone outside of themselves to blame for the situation. I'm suggesting that you don't do that. Everything is your responsibility, even if it's not your fault. Most people deal with unwanted outcomes in childish ways. So my son came into my office here today when I was recording this morning, and he was asking me for something. I can't remember what he was asking me. He asked me for a banana. So I keep bananas on my desk. And I told him that I could not give him one right then at the moment. He went about 5 feet away from my desk, and he sat down on the floor and he started sulking. All right, that's what adults do. Adults are doing that these days. I get a 2-year-old doing it, but if you're 25, you shouldn't be doing it. If you're 37, you shouldn't be doing it. This is what people do. So I'm just not going to engage with this anymore because of what it said made me upset. This is bullshit. Are you a kid? We can't do this. And if we got a whole society full of adults acting like this, what are the kids going to do? Because they're allegedly following our lead. But if you ain't leading, who are they following? They ain't following anything. They're being raised by the internet. I talked about this in the episode on your kid's education is your responsibility. If you're not there to lead your kid's going to be led by whatever decides to step up and lead, which often is going to be something on that phone, and you have no idea what they're looking at when you ain't watching. Most people deal with disappointment by, again, blaming something outside of themselves. Most people deal with unwanted outcomes like kids, such as calling everyone who voted for the candidate you don't like, oh, they're stupid, uneducated, they're just not smart enough to see things my way. Yes, of course, right. That explains it. Yes. 8-year-old children do that. 8-year-old children, do that. Which means you should not be doing it if you're not 8. Okay, you need to do the opposite of what everybody else is doing. This is the immaturity epidemic that we have here in society. And adults, all of you who are over the age of, let's say 25 and up, I'll give you some leeway if you're under 25. I'll give you a couple years to catch up. But all of you 25 and up, all right, we can't be doing this shit. Because where's our society going if the adults are doing this? What's the next generation going to do? They ain't going to be as good as us. At least not at the age that they are now. They can only do a facsimile of what they see us doing. So if this is what we're doing, what are they going to do? And they're going to grow up thinking that this is okay. Because they'll find a pocket of society that is completely okay with the nonsense. There are pockets of society that agree with everything that I'm against. And if I wanted to just stay in that pocket and not deal with anybody else, I very well could find that pocket and just stay in that pocket, stay in that little bubble my whole life if I wanted to. There are people who are already doing this. What I'm suggesting is you don't become one of them. That's what I'm saying. All that said, everybody, let's recap today's class, which is the adult immaturity epidemic. Talked in episode 1605 how the adults of today are failing the kids. Today, let's go further on that. Number one, stop cutting yourself off from information or resources just because you have a supposed personal issue with the source of information or from the information itself. We cannot do this. Again, even a blind squirrel can find a nut. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Number two, too many adults are bought into informational tribalism where you only consume information from certain sources and certain people just because you have decided that you personally align with them in the way that they see the world. Maybe you do, naturally. Doesn't mean you can't take in other material that may challenge you in some way. Number three, the reason this topic is so important is because there's a wide open opportunity for all the people who are able to accept and apply what I'm telling you here today. Most people don't. So the opportunity in life, again, episode 1025, is always in the opposites. All this said, folks, workonyourgameuniversity.com. Have me as your direct coach. Let's get to work on getting you in the right mindset, which I'm talking about here today, strategizing for getting from where you're at to where you want to go, creating a system so we can do the same things over and over and over again, the same way every time, duplicatably and predictably, and making sure everything's being held accountable for proper implementation with me as your coach personally the entire time. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre, all